Colorado. It's English for mountain place. It's not, but that's what we have here. We have a lot of mountains and a lot of outdoor activities. Colorado is, if I do say so myself, the greatest, biggest, best, huge. It's so wonderful. You're gonna love it. Playground, outdoor playground, probably in the entire galaxy.
It's all right.
It's all right. So we're going to talk to you today just about some of the best, some of our favorites, some that we have yet to explore because there's so much we can't keep up. But we're going to let you know some of the best outdoor activities to do in Colorado, dude.
Colorado, dude. I like it.
Starting off with whitewater rafting.
Yes, absolutely. I love whitewater.
So do I.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah? Have you been on the Arkansas?
I have not been on the Arkansas.
Okay. The Arkansas or Arkansas is absolutely fantastic. I think it's some of the best in the state. Some people might disagree with me, but I think it's some of the best in the state. You get to go through the Royal Gorge on the Arkansas.
Oh.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff. There's definitely some good rapids in there. It's not like, it's not like you're hitting any of the world's like most magnificent like class 5 rapids or anything like that, but you get amazing, amazing views all along the Arkansas the entire way down. And the rafting guides there, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic people. There's one company down there I really like called Noah's Ark. I do think it's actually best if you grab a bunch of friends and you go down there and do it together. If you're not the type of person that wants to end up with random people that you've never met all day long on a raft, going however fast you're going on, some pretty decent sized rapids, flying into canyon walls and things like that. If you like that sort of thing with random people you never met, do it.
Look, can confirm it's likely better with people that you know and like and trust.
Yeah.
The last whitewater rafting trip that I did, it was down the Nile. Not to one up the Arkansas, but it's just a little different. But it was me and my friend, and then just like a bunch of foreigners, and it just was it's a unique experience when you're with a bunch of people that you don't know.
Yeah.
But the other place that I think is a super, super awesome place to go rafting is if you go down to Durango. So this is not Colorado Springs, but Durango's like in the southwest portion of Colorado. And you can get on this train, and it's the Durango Silverton train. It's like a 2.5, 3 hour ride. But what happens is all the rafters and backpackers get off about 2/3 of the way. And because the train chugs along the side of this gorgeous, beautiful, big river. And it's
wanna say it's the Animus?
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And so the first time that I went down there, I didn't realize. I was like, oh, you can raft this rig? Because it looks terrifying.
Yeah.
But it's a really, really awesome place. Also, a lot of really cool raft guides down there. So that's I would say, a must.
So first place we talked about, whitewater rafting, Canyon City on the Arkansas. Another place I'd recommend, also on the Arkansas, Buena Vista.
Yeah.
So that's, a couple hours west of Colorado Springs. The place Kyle mentioned, Durango, it's about 5.5 hours southwest of Colorado Springs, close to Four Corners region. A lot of cool stuff you can do down there as well. Mesa Verde, Four Corners, things like that, as well as hop on the Durango Silverton train.
And by the way, this is important to know. When is peak season for rafting? Because that'll affect your experience. It'll actually even affect if the river that you're trying to go on, you're going to be rafting or you're just like floating on an inner tube.
Absolutely.
Typically, like the last 2 weeks in June, that time frame, give or take 10%, is when you have the highest, what's called CFS. I actually just learned that term. It's cubic feet per second.
That's right.
But that's when you have
what happens?
Melt.
Yeah.
Snow melt. Snow melt from the ski resorts.
That's right.
That's the other thing that we have to talk about.
Yes.
Because opposite of the whitewater rafting, obviously everybody knows that Colorado is huge for skiing and snowboarding.
Yes.
Right?
Of course that has to be in mountain adventures.
Obviously. So we have a whole video that's about how to use the Epic Pass and the Icon Pass and all that stuff. We just want to hit on a couple of our personal favorites. Also, maybe throw in some lesser knowns.
Yeah.
So I will just say Vail is unlike any place on earth.
Yep.
It is kind of the king of the Epic Passes, of the resorts on the Epic Passes, but Vail is legitimately unlike any place on earth. Now, I will tell you, I'm a snowboarder by trade. I also ski, but Vail is not my favorite place to snowboard, though, because when you go to the legendary back bowls, you go down these unbelievable runs, but then there are cat tracks that go on for literal days. And I just don't like riding long cat tracks on a snowboard. Most people don't. But oh my gosh, like you just get there and it's so vast and it's so open. And when there's fresh, all things considered, if I could go anywhere that I've ever been, at least, if there is fresh snow, perfect day, perfect conditions, and I could go anywhere, I'm going to Vail. Like straight out the gate.
Yeah.
What
That's
about
fair.
you?
That's fair. Couple of my favorite places and where
Not
I've
a couple.
spent-
Nope. One.
One?
The favorite.
One? Oh my gosh. Probably my favorite place I've been, Telluride.
Ooh, I haven't been there yet.
Yeah. A little bit lesser known. I mean, obviously a ski destination, maybe a little bit lesser traveled because it's not as easy to get to as
It's
Vail,
pretty far.
Breck, Aspen, A-Basin, all that stuff, right? Those are super, super popular because hour and a half west of Denver, I-70, super easy drive, right? Telluride's probably 4 hours southwest of here, something like that. But it's absolutely gorgeous. There is no place on earth like Telluride. It is insane, absolutely beautiful. Even if you don't ski, it's worth it to just go take like the gondola ride in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Over the top of the mountain. It's wild. You get up in the gondola and the mountain just drops out from underneath you at the peak.
Oh, wow.
And then you ride the gondola like down into like Telluride proper, like away from the ski resort. Just absolutely beautiful area. And maybe tends to be a little bit less busy than...
Just because it's so far.
Yeah.
I think it's actually closer to like 6 hours, but life hack that you only get here, there is a small, teeny tiny little airline that flies from
boutique?
Denver. It's not boutique anymore, it's called Key Lime Air.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
boutique change.
Okay.
It's called Key Lime Air that you can hop out of Denver. You ride these little, it's almost like you get the feeling that you're on like a private jet. You take like a little bus out to the tarmac, you walk out. I mean, it's such a great experience, but they fly direct into Telluride, and that is...
And Durango.
And
I
Durango.
believe. Yeah.
I would have to double check that. I honestly
Yeah.
don't know. But that's pretty clutch.
Yeah.
I just want to add in one more here because we could talk about ski resorts literally all day.
Yeah.
Another lesser known, actually affordable. We went to this resort the other day and it was $240 for a day ticket. So
Yeah. Talking about Winter Park.
Yep.
I said it. Oops.
Yep. Oops.
Yeah.
Here's one of my all-time favorite resorts. It's so small. A lot of people haven't gone there. The busiest day that I've ever been there, it was like, oh my gosh, I have to wait for 2.5 minutes to get on the lift. They get the most snow in Colorado, Wolf Creek. Wolf Creek. Yep. So that is actually, you could day trip from Colorado Springs.
yeah.
I would recommend it. I would say like an easy weekend trip where you drive down on like a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
You could get there, boom, get your tickets, ski all day, stay in South Fork instead of Pagosa Springs. South Fork, up and coming, get investment properties there, get land there, start building. Let's turn that place into a mecca.
I like Pagosa.
I
man.
love Pagosa. Everybody loves Pagosa, but it's another 45 minutes because it's on the other side of the pass.
Yep.
It's more expensive just because it's way more popular. The South Fork is like super chill.
South Fork is gorgeous.
But Wolf Creek Day Pass is like, give or take, depending on the day, it's like $85.
Yeah.
Military, it's like $65.
Yeah.
That's unheard of these days.
The cheapest I've seen like Keystone this year was what, like 160?
Probably with a buddy pass.
Yeah.
Or like
With-
early
yeah.
season
It
when
was
25% of the mountain was open.
It was with a buddy pass.
It's so crazy. I love Wolf Creek. We go down there. I mean, we have Epic passes and Icon passes. We go to Wolf Creek every year because it's such a fun place. It's a great place to learn. You can take affordable lessons there, Like you can get intro to backcountry. Oh my God, I could do a whole video on just Wolf Creek. So we'll save that. I think I will.
Yeah.
I think I will.
Number 3 on the list. Kyle does this a lot more than I do. I do a lot more indoor stuff. What is it?
Climbing. Obviously. It's Colorado. You want to turn this place into a legitimate playground?
Yeah.
Then you gotta get outside and climb. I mean, it's worth experiencing. In fact, I think, again, we could do a whole video on this. In fact, I'm gonna bring my fiance in and make her do a guest appearance because she is like a legitimate rock climbing guide and she's really good at this. And the reason that I rock climb is because she drags me along and it's great and it's spiritual and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so just want to hit a couple of spots. We've talked about the indoor rock climbing place, best place in the Springs, City Rock. You heard it here.
City Rock. SCC's also another good option. If you like bouldering more than you like rock climbing, right? Sport Climbing Center, SCC.
Yep. But, okay, the best. I've never seen a place like this in my whole life, but the best place to go rock climbing from Colorado Springs. It's an easy 90-minute drive, Shelf Road.
Yep.
So you go southwest down to Canyon City, and then you pop up and you drive on these little back roads, and you come to this place that has over 1,000 routes.
Yeah.
It's 1,000 sport climbing routes, which if you don't know the difference between sport and trad, that'll be in the climbing video that we do to help hone it down and teach you about some rock climbing stuff. But Shelf Road is magical.
Yeah.
And it has some of the best campsites ever. Yeah. Like they're so well manicured. They're great loops. There's 2 loops. There's like the Outer Banks. And when you're up on top, one of the campgrounds is like, it's like on a cliff. We intentionally don't stay on that one because we have our dogs and I don't want my dogs like wandering in the middle of the night and then to just yeet themselves off of a cliff. So we stay like a little bit further in, but I mean, they're manicured super nice. They've all got the big concrete tables, the fire pits. It's such a great place. It's an amazing weekend. And here's what's crazy. We haven't gotten down there this year because we've just been super busy snowboarding and skiing and ice climbing actually. But last year we went to Shelf Road in January.
Yeah.
And it was like 65 degrees, 70, like it was like shirts off, getting sun, sweating on the rock. Like it gets, because they're facing the sun in the winter and it is just, it's amazing.
And typically Canyon City tends to be a little bit warmer than the spring, so it's nice to go down there and get that. Like, you know, it might be 50 here, but on a day where it's 50 here in the Springs, literally it could be 60, 65 down in Canyon City.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Absolutely gorgeous day, and you find those all the time in January and December, so it can be a year-round thing, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just such a great place. There's, like I said, over 1,000 routes. Now, I will say, this is kind of it's not a bummer, but like it has an enormous amount of like 510s. And if you know much about climbing outdoors, like you might crush 510s in the gym, but then you get outside to a 510 and you're like, what is this lunacy?
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, because there's a few 5.8s, there's plenty of 5.9s, but the problem is like that's like the average climber. Like you could take somebody like me that's not that great and like, I'm gonna go climb 5.8s and 5.9s. Well, the problem is they get really worn out.
Yeah.
And so those 5.9s kind of become like, it's not a real thing, but like a 5.9 plus because like they get smoother, they get less grippy.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shelf Road, look it up. The pictures are amazing. The area's amazing. The climbing's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. Yeah. The other place that I'd recommend that's just a little outside of Colorado Springs as well is Clear Creek Canyon. So you actually kind of go up to Denver, you pop in on I-70, and then before you get going way too far back, you actually like cut back and go along, which by the way, you can also raft. So in the summer, it's really fun because people are rafting. It's like this, it's like you have the highway and then the river and then this big rock wall, huge rock walls. And there are actually parts where you cross the river where there's like a metal cable and you carabiner into it and you shimmy yourself across.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get over there and then there's plenty of space to stand and, you know, lay out your stuff and whatever. But there's multi-pitch out there. We've done, I think the tallest one we did, it was about 200 feet. It ended up being 4 or 5 pitches. But that's a cool experience. And there's like really, really doable climbing out there. I mean, lots of 5.8s, 5.9s, like, and then of course for you psychopaths that are climbing 5.11s and 5.12s and above, there's obviously stuff like that for you as well.
Absolutely. Number 4 on the list. Let's talk about it. Do you do much of this?
I do all of this.
You do all of this?
No, I actually don't do any of this. To be honest, I don't want to talk about it because I don't know anything about it.
That's fair. I know a little bit about it because I do a little bit of it. Not a lot, but mountain biking. Mountain biking, this state is absolutely fantastic for mountain biking. Probably because we have mountains and mountain biking, like, mountains, yeah. Anywho.
Science.
Absolutely fantastic, but there are some great spots around the springs for mountain biking. Palmer Park, obviously a really great spot for mountain biking. You've got these crazy bluffs, and I don't even remember how many miles of trails in there is, but it's insane. I mean, it's a huge park, tons and tons of trails, great uphills, absolutely fantastic downhills right there in the middle of the city. You don't even have to leave the city for that one. If you do want to leave the city, 20 minutes up the road, depending on where you live at, Manitou Springs. Hop on the Bar Trail, connects to so many mountain biking trails back there. And the downhills back there are absolutely fantastic. Now, Bar Trail, kind of a pain in the butt as a mountain biker because you got to deal with people trying to get up to bar camp, coming off of the incline using Bar Trail as they're down off of the incline, which you're supposed to do now, by the way. Supposed to do.
You're supposed to do Bar Trail.
Yeah, you're supposed to, if you're doing the incline, you're supposed to go up,
you're supposed
hit
to.
Bar Trail,
Most people
come down.
do.
Yeah, most people do. The crazies who are doing the incline 2 or 3 times in a day are not using
they're just coming down the stairs, which is terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. But I've seen a lot of bikers take their bikes and hike them back up in there until they get to a place where they can just ride kind of freely, off the beaten path, if you will. And the downhills back there are absolutely insane. And then, of course, pretty much anywhere else that you go in the state is fantastic for mountain biking.
So you mean they pick up their bikes and they hike in?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In those parts where there's a crap ton of people on the trail.
Well, I don't carry a mountain bike, but I do hike.
You do hike.
Ooh, that was smooth.
That was
pretty smooth.
That was a smooth transition.
Each one of these topics legitimately could have its own channel.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, for Colorado, but we'll just hit you with a couple of the must do's.
Well, and before we jump into it, another one of the must do's, right, for the viewers out there, you must like and subscribe.
Yeah.
You
got to do it because if you don't, then what did you do?
Nothing.
And we're doers.
That's right.
We're doers of the goodness here.
That's right.
Okay, so I will give this a broad brushstroke. If you are training for literally anything difficult, if you are wanting to go do something like Mount Whitney or Mount Hood or Denali or whatever, if you want to do some of those big things, Colorado's great because we also have 58 14,000-foot peaks, affectionately known as the 14ers.
The 14ers.
If you want more information on that, you can go to 14ers.com, 14ers.com.
Yes.
It is like if you are trying to climb an iconic mountain in Colorado, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You go to those websites. That's how you stay safe. Super advocate for that.
And there's one
Look at the weather.
within an hour of the springs right back there, an iconic mountain.
There is an iconic. In fact, I think some people call it America's mountain.
I think some people do.
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak.
Pikes Peak is a beast of a mountain.
Yep.
And it is honestly one of the things that makes Colorado Springs infinitely better than Denver is that like we are nestled up right underneath the mountains, kind of like out in Utah. It's got kind of that feel. Denver doesn't really have that feel unless you pay an astronomical amount and you live in like Golden or Boulder.
Yeah.
But in Colorado Springs, you have like Pikes Peak, this big old mountain, and it is towering over the other ones. But it's also hikeable. And most people start it. There's a couple ways to start it, but a way to start it is the Bar Trail or the incline. So you can weasel your way up this way or bounce straight at the incline and just murder your legs right off the get-go.
Yeah, which I don't recommend on that side of the mountain because Bar Trail, that's like a 19-mile trail.
It's so long.
Yeah.
It's so long. Now, if you are bougie, you can also hike the mountain, get to the top, ride the train back down. That's what your boy does.
Yeah, that's how you can make it a day trip right there. Pretty easy.
Yeah. But some people do hike up and they stay up at Bar Camp and then they finish hiking it up the next day. So Pikes Peak, Bar Trail, that's a classic. Can't miss it.
And there's another route, right?
Yeah, on the backside. Is that the one you're talking about?
Backside
I don't know
of
what
the
it's
peak.
called, actually.
Yeah, I just call it the backside of the peak.
I think it's called Pike Peak backside of the peak.
Pikes Peak backside, yeah.
And it's actually way shorter, but you have to drive all the way around
yeah.
the mountain out to like Cripple Creek area and Victor.
A person who's in decent shape, which is not me, could do that in 6 hours probably. 6 to 8 hours, is probably like pretty normal, and that's going to be most of your 14ers. So on the backside, you're starting on the Crags Trail. The Crags is a super cool like rocky overlook point toward the base of that trail. You go up through what's called Devil's Playground and then eventually up to tippy top of the peak. You can definitely make that a day hike. You just got to start early in the morning.
Yeah.
You know,
as you should, by the way,
pretty much
disclaimer with the 14ers, please, for the love of all things alive, start early.
Yeah.
Because we have what's called monsoon season here during the summer, and it can last 2 months, but it's like guaranteed afternoon thunderstorms. And especially on 14ers, they have their own weather systems. We'll do a whole nother video on this as well. Gosh, this is great. We've got so much content.
I know.
So subscribe so that you can see it, because we're going to give you some personal experience on these 14ers. I've had some terrifying experiences on 14ers. Just because like I didn't listen to some really, really basic rules. But anyway, so the 14ers are super clutch. Get on 14ers.com, take a peek. And if you're not that wild, then there is like Red Rocks Open Space, Garden of the Gods, Palmer Park, Chaparral Hills. Like there are just tons of...
Bar Trail again, up to Bar Camp, fantastic hike.
I just want to like...
North Cheyenne Canyon.
Get away from the city and just do some exploring. North Cheyenne Canyon has some unbelievable hikes that are not that difficult. We actually take a lot of people there when they come to visit us and they stay at our house. We'll take them there because like you just like kind of get transported. I mean, it is like it's the idyllic view.
And all those places we just mentioned, like 15, 20-minute drive maybe. You know,
it's pretty awesome.
Absolutely fantastic.
The playground.
You really are like as close as you can get to the mountains without being in the mountains when you live here.
Yeah. The last one on the list, I really want you to watch our boy Francis Rose. He is going to talk about this because he is real estate and fly fishing. I mean, he is passionate about it. He always has fly fishing gear on. So watch our boy Francis. He's going to do a video and he's going to be keeping you guys updated on the fly fishing around the state. But we just at least want to touch on it a little bit because the fly fishing in Colorado, it's not Montana, but it's a thing here.
Oh, for sure. I dabble, you know. Most people, of course, who know anything about fly fishing in Colorado are going to have heard of the Dream Stream. So, you know, Platte River between Spinney and 11 Mile, absolutely fantastic stretch of river. I usually go fishing around Deckers when I want a quick drive out of the springs. I absolutely love it. There's another spot that I am not going to name by name because it's some high alpine lakes with some Arctic grayling in these high alpine lakes. If you've never seen Arctic grayling, absolutely beautiful, beautiful fish. It's probably one of the only places you can find it in Colorado. Might be the lowest state in the lower 48 that you can find Arctic grayling in. But that's within a couple hour drive.
It's not the Shields Aquarium.
It's not the Shields Aquarium.
Or the Bass Pro Aquarium.
It's not the Bass Pro Aquarium.
Just had to double check.
Totally not. I would never do such a thing. Never have done such a thing. But, you know, you're going to be driving 45 minutes to an hour to get to some of the closest stuff. I mean, the Arkansas, again, right down there. You do got to put up with the rafters if you're trying to fly fish during those early summer months. But as you get into the later summer months, that fly fishing, especially with some of the spawns going on, with you know, some of the hatches going on, can be absolutely fantastic come July, August, September, even into late October. We'll get some fantastic days for fly fishing.
My experience with fly fishing is about this much, and it 100% entails the Goofy movie.
I love that.
All of my fly fishing experience is what I know from watching the Goofy movie and practicing the perfect cast.
Tours you say, twist over, pot do, I'm a little teapot and the wind up. And let her fly. The perfect cast.
Man, guys, we just gave you 6 fantastic mountain adventures, right?
Look, Colorado is awesome. If you're thinking of moving to Colorado and you're like, you've been on the fence, get off the fence and start playing.
That's right.
And did you notice that like he does some things that I don't do? Like I don't have time for mountain biking because I'm doing other things. I haven't been fly fishing because I have other things, right? And same vice versa. There is so much. But I will say this.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to make little badges because look, there are people, I'm a transplant. I'm not from here. I moved here and I'm so happy that I did. But my fiance Lauren and I, we have this saying, we say like, you got to earn your spot in Colorado. You have to earn it. I don't know. But that's like how we justify going 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time. So like, you know, we went skiing on Saturday. We got back super late. And then Sunday it's like, well, let's go rock climb. Let's go. Let's take the dogs out. Let's go hiking somewhere. And it's just like, there's so much to do here. If you're on the fence about moving here and you weren't sure, do you want to have fun for the rest of your life? Do you want to be a grown-up kid?
Do you like mountains?
Do you like mountains? Do you like being outside?
Do you like
nature?
adventure?
Do you like wildlife?
Yeah.
Do you like me? Did you like this video?
Right. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. And when you do get off the fence and you finally decide that you're just going to do what Tony Robbins says and take massive action, let us know. We'll help you find a house. That's what we love to do. We know this place inside and outside and backside of Pikes Peak. We love you guys. I'm going climbing. See ya.